the 61 car as the beneficiary. And then we had a top three actually changes during question 7 as Keselowski pits. So now you had Kyle Busch, Carl Edwards, and Joey Logano. Keselowski actually would restart in the 18th position. And green flag comes out lap 156, and the restart lap 157. Top three at lap 157, Kyle Busch, Carl Edwards, and Kevin Harvick. Kyle Busch with by 185 was a 2.49 second lead. Now at lap 160 it was 0.385 seconds, and then at lap 185 grew to 2.49. And then what else happened? Okay, so Di Benedetto goes to the garage at lap 182, and then question number 9 would come out lap 186. Ninth question, for debris on turn 2, Brett Moffitt, the beneficiary, Brett Moffitt in the 34 car. The leaders head to the pits, and you have a race off pit road at lap 189, which consisted of the 18, the 11, the 4, the 22, the 19, the 48, the 20, the 6, the 24, and the 41, and all of these cars take 4 tires each, and the race would restart at lap 192. Top 3 at lap 192, Kyle Busch, Roy Newman, Joey Logano, and the top 3 at lap 195 would be Kyle Busch, Denny Hamlin, Joey Logano. Question number 10 comes out at lap 207, Danica Patrick loses it, and question number 10 actually tied the record for the number of questions at Kentucky, but that record would be broken with question number 11, which would come out at lap 220. But 207, Danica Patrick loses it after being contacted by Dale Jr. Patrick goes into the infield grass, and then so the 10 goes into the. Oh, I'm sorry. Correction. The 10 goes. Oh, here's what happened. So the 88 contacts the number 10 car, Danica Patrick. Danica Patrick goes into the grass. Then she comes into the pit road. And then what happened down pit road is that Danica Patrick's car goes into Dale Jr.'s car in pit road. So you had the 88 into the 10 out on the track, and then the 10 into the 88 going into pit road. So that's what happened there. The race off pit road, though, you had a race off pit road lap 209, which consisted of the 11, the 18, the 19, the 22, the 20, the 2, the 42, the 6, the 3, and the 4, respectively. And the race would restart at lap 212. Now the 42 car, Kyle Larson, he has a tire rub. That was announced at 2:15. The official radio communication says, quote, 42 tire rub, 42 tire rub. His car, Kyle Larson's car was smoking, and he has to come to the pit, and he pits, comes back out, and then has to come back in and pit again, and that would lead to question number 11, because what happened was, he went back out, he hit the wall, and that would bring out question number 11, and that was at lap 220. Now, before that, at the restart, which was 212, you had a top 3 at lap 218, which was Denny Hamlin, Joey Logano, Kyle Busch. Then the question number 11 would come out at lap 220, and as mentioned, question number 10 ties the record number of questions at Kentucky, and question number 11 would set a new record. And the 42 car, Kyle Larson hits the wall with another tire down, and no beneficiary there. Danica Patrick's crew is penalized during question number 11, pinning too soon and too many over the wall. Okay, and that was at lap 222. Also, Kyle Larson, after hitting the wall, he gets penalized too for his crew pitting too. He gets penalized for pitting too soon. Okay, which means he got in there while pit road was closed. Okay, and we mentioned this last time that they close pit road as soon as the question comes out. It gives the guys to get in order behind the pace car. They go around a couple of laps, and then when everything looks good to go, then NASCAR will open pit road. So, but if you go in there before pit road is open, then that's pitting too soon. Now you had the race would restart at lap 224. Okay, then you had the top 3 at lap 224, which was Joey Logano, Kyle Busch, Carl Edwards. Lap 228, you had Joey Logano, Kyle Busch, Denny Hamlin. And then you had some fun between Kyle Busch and Joey Logano. The last tail end of that lap was it was Kyle Busch and Joey Logano. And they were so far ahead that they left the rest of the pack behind. So far ahead that they were racing alongside the cars that were in back of the pack. Okay. I was saying for a good chunk of the last part of that race, all you saw was Kyle Busch, Joey Logano. And then after a while it was like, hey, where are the rest of the cars? You almost forgot about the rest of the cars. That's how far ahead these two guys were. And there was some fun to watch between these two towards all the way to the end of the race. And at lap 256, okay, you had a top three of Kyle Busch, Joey Logano, Denny Hamlin, and Kyle Busch with a 2.31 second lead over Joey Logano, and that was at lap 258. The white flag would come out at lap 266, and of course, the deal is done at lap 267. Kyle Busch comes in for first, Joey Logano second, and Denny Hamlin third. Brad Keselowski would finish sixth, and Carl Edwards would finish fourth. 24 random car. So they picked 24 cars at random to check them out. Officials do that. And for the first time in Joe Gibbs Racing history, all four Joe Gibbs cars finish in the top 5. So the lead track summary as follows. Brad Keselowski had the lead for a little bit at the start of the race and during lap 1, but towards the end of lap 1, Kyle Larson would take it, and he would take it into lap 2, but then Keselowski would take it back at lap 2 as well. No changes during question number 1, but question number 2, Reed Sorensen would take the lead. He's in the 66 car. Then Kyle Busch would take the lead, and he would take it into the restart at lap 36. No changes during the third question. Keselowski, however, would take over for a little bit at lap 93, for a very little bit. Then it was Kyle Busch at lap 94, then Keselowski again at lap 95. No changes during the fourth question. Kyle Busch, however, would take the lead during the fifth question, and he would take it into the restart at lap 129. Question 6, 7, 8, no changes. Question number 9, Ryan Newman would take over the lead for a little bit, and he would take it into the restart at lap 192, but he would lose it very quickly because Kyle Busch would take the lead right back also during lap 192. Question 10, Denny Hamlin takes the lead, and he'll take it into the restart at lap 212, and during lap 212, Kyle Busch took it into the restart, and then right after the split second, as soon as the race did restart, Kyle Busch took it right back. Then Carl Edwards would take the lead lap 214, Denny Hamlin would take it 214. Question number 11, no changes, but lap 224, Joey Logano would take the lead, and he would hold on till lap 245, where Kyle Busch takes the lead for a little bit, but then Joey Logano takes the lead right back. He had the lead for a little bit, but then Kyle Busch would take it back at lap 248, and he rolled on to it all the way to the checkered flag, and that is Kyle Busch's second win, if I got that correct. That's his second win. So there you go. So we're going to take a little quick break, and then we'll go over the cream of the crop, the racing schedule. So stick around. RP continues. Alright, welcome back everybody to the Racing Podcast, available at apodradio.com on autoplay, so you just log on and the show will start playing automatically. And of course, if you go to Spreaker.com, #sports, but you could also use #news, #talk, any one of those will work. So the action from last week was at the Bluegrass State, so now they go from the Bluegrass State to the Granite State of New Hampshire, to the New Hampshire Motor Speedway, also known as the Magic Mile. New Hampshire, located at 1122 Route 106 North, Loudon, New Hampshire, 03307. And of course, the winner gets to, it doesn't get to take home, but I think they get to eat the big giant lobster. Okay, they were talking about that today, the big giant lobster. New Hampshire is an oval track. It's considered a 1 mile short track. Surface is asphalt and granite. Length is 1.058 miles, a little over a mile. Number of turns is 4. Bankings variable at 2/7 of a degree or 12% grade, and the straightaways are at 1 degree. Lap record is 21.466 seconds. Andre Ribeiro, Tasman Autosports, 1995 Kart PPG IndyCar World Series. So there you go. So you have Xfinity and you have Sprint Cup action this weekend, and the trucks return on Wednesday. This Wednesday coming up, the 22nd, at Eldora Speedway, and that's for the Mud Summer Classic, which is fun. That's when they actually race on mud, and that's a Wednesday night race. So, ladies and gentlemen, the Racing Podcast proudly presents, wait for it, this weekend's racing schedule. Saturday is this weekend's Xfinity event, Saturday, July the 18th at 4 o'clock p.m. Eastern Time on NBCSN and PRN, and it's the Lakes Region 200, and that's with 200 laps scheduled. And then on Sunday, this weekend's Sprint Cup event, Sunday, July the 19th at 1:30 p.m. Eastern on NBCSN and PRN, and that's the 5-hour Energy 301, and that's with 301 laps scheduled. Both races from New Hampshire. And then the next Camping World Truck event is on Wednesday, July 22nd, and Wednesday, July 22nd at 9 o'clock p.m. Eastern on Fox Sports 1 and MRN, and that's the 1-800 Car Cash Mud Summer Classic from Eldora Speedway, also known as the Big E, and that is with 150 laps scheduled. Eldora Speedway is located in Allen Township in Darke County near Weston, Ohio, and Eldora is an oval track. Surface is clay. Length 1/2 mile. Number of turns 4. And the bankings at the corner is 24 degrees, and the straights it is 8 degrees. And let me see. I think I'm missing something right here. Let me double check for you. Make sure I got everything. All right. Oh. And lap record at Eldora is 12.707 seconds from Craig Delansky Racing 2002 World of Outlaws Sprint Car Series. And if you haven't seen Sprint Car Racing, that's a lot of fun. If you go on YouTube and search for STP Outlaws or just Sprint Cars, you'll see some Sprint Car Racing on there, which are a lot of fun. Alright, so... Oh, and before I forget, there's also an IndyCar race this Saturday, which is at 8 o'clock on NBCSN, which I'm assuming is going to be after the Xfinity event, and that's the Iowa Corn 300, and that's over in Newton, Iowa. Actually, there's 4 IndyCar races left, including Saturday, so that's that. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to take a little quick break, and then we'll come back, and then we'll take a look at the driver standings. Business as usual this week. So this is the Racing Podcast. Stick around, because RP continues next. Alright, welcome back everybody to the Racing Podcast. So let's get to it. The NASCAR Sprint Cup driver standings top 10 as follows. First place is Kevin Harvick in the number 4 car with 692 points, Kurt leader. Second place is Jimmy Johnson in the 48 car, 624 points, 68 points back. And then third place is Joey Logano in the 22 car, who also has 624 points and is also 68 points back. Fourth place is Dale Jr. in the 88 car with 616 points, 76 points back. And then Martin Truex Jr., he's in 5th place in the 78 car, 596 points, 96 points back. 6th place, Brad Keselowski in the number 2 car, 559 points, 133 points back. 7th place is Jerry McMurray in the number 1 car, 556 points, 136 points back. 8th place, Kurt Busch in the